Hey everyone, welcome to Q&Andy. Back, settled, in studio.
Air conditioned.
It's air conditioned, which is a luxury. This is the show where I don't know what's coming. So Mike, what are we doing?
Yeah. So thank you to everybody for sending in your questions, going to the website, sending where they need to be sent there, going to AskAndy at serve-podcast.com. Send your questions in there. And this week we got a couple videos.
Oh.
Finally, but we won't start off with one.
Great.
First, we got Uday wrote us, if you take a side-by-side snapshot of the wear on the courts from 25 years ago to now, the volley area is as fresh as day one, and the baseline is absolutely chewed up. Mm-hmm. Firstly, I don't know if that's correct, but firstly, has this kind of extra wear affected how people play at Wimbledon? Second, how do you feel about this era abandoning the net game, serve and volley, and what is traditionally grass court tennis?
Yes. One, everything changes over time. Any sport, right? You know, I don't know. You're going to get the argument from like the bruisers from the 80s in the NBA who are like, just pound the big guy inside. Like, why is everyone pulling up from 28 feet? I promise you it's because it's not because it's less effective, right? The strings have changed everything. You know, when I first came out, when I first played, there was, I don't know, a handful of guys who could hit over a first serve return. They weren't using Luxilon, you think like, but they're like elite talents, right? It's like Safin, Hewitt, Andre. You know, a lot of people went with the chip. If you know someone's going to go with a chip, come in behind the serve. Normally becomes an easier option. You know, now guys are so strong, they're backing up, and they're able to create these kind of spin mechanisms that land at your feet. And if you're volleying up at someone, it doesn't normally end well. And guys can pass so well, everyone's faster. So the wear and tear on the court patterns is different. It's still pretty good. I mean, it's easier to move on a court when it's worn late in the tournament than it is when it's like lush and slippery at the beginning of the tournament, right? That's when you kind of get the whoopsie falls, which are a little scary. The bounces are actually really good, maybe except for that little brown patch where people land on their serves, right? So you hit a serve and you kind of land. That one, it's a little dicey. And also, if you hit, like, if someone hits a return there, it can sometimes bounce a little inconsistent, you know, and it depends on if it rains during the fortnight or if it doesn't. This one was very dry. My last Wimbledon final was super dry. You know, so inevitably it's like your yard. It's going to be browner if it's drier. But the only real kind of place where you get really, really gnarly bounces is that dirt patch where you land on your serve. But someone sticks a return there anyways, it's not as if you're getting hosed. I mean, they've already kind of, I used to think of it as like if you hit a return there, you've earned your bad bounce. But yeah, it's all different. I don't know that it's coming back anytime soon. You know, you look at Zverev at 6'6" and what he's doing, and Sinner finally got that payoff in the final by going 20 feet back on second serves, and you still think that he can hit a winner from there. So that's not a real obvious invite to come in off of a serve or second serve.
Can I ask you a follow-up to that? Something I was curious about. They were talking about some of the players, especially as you head into the semifinals and quarterfinals, that they've never played on center court before. Mm-hmm. You know, during the week, are they able to get out there and see what it feels like, especially once it's more worn? Like, I mean, are they just the first time they're feeling that ball off that turf is when they're out there warming up?
So there's no hard rule. I mean, the other courts are all worn in too,
yeah.
Right? So it's not as if
it's not drastically different.
No, I mean,
okay.
Listen, all the courts are being used for all of the things. You know, if anything, I would say a lot of the areas on the center court are a little better and need less adjustment just because they don't play as much doubles out there as the other courts, you know, so you don't get those like worn in boxes and kind of the different traffic patterns. There is precedent, and I think, so don't hold me to this, but I think I heard that Noskova and Muhova might not have played on center before the semis, and they may have let them hit out there.
Okay.
I know that, I don't think I'm releasing any weird secrets. In 2004, I'll get the years mixed up. I think in 2004, I played my first match on center court, and then I didn't go back there until the final.
Oh, wow.
So it was 2 weeks in between, but they let me hit on center court just to kind of get used to the surroundings. So it is very rare, but to answer your question on is it the first time, it doesn't always have to work like that. Like, they're not going to do it before a fourth round because there's lots of people that haven't played on center court. I think once you get semis, finals, if you haven't been out there, then I think they'll let you kind of get a quick sweat and kind of get your bearings. At least sometimes. And I don't know what the exact rules and reasonings are, but it has happened before.
That's interesting. Next up, we got a video question from our friend Victor. Sean, we play that?
Hey, Andy. Love the pod. Yan Asuncion here all the way from the Philippines. So watching that Wimbledon semifinals between Zverev and Arthur Fery, the 9-inch height difference was very wild for me to see. Obviously, Zverev has that massive serve and Arthur Fery has that lightning fast movement and low center of gravity. As a guy who had one of the craziest serves in the game, where do you think the sweet spot is for height these days? Is being under 6 foot becoming a total deal breaker at the slams or even in the pro level? Or is there a genuine blueprint a shorter player like me can use to absolutely neutralize a 6'6" guy? Thank you so much and hope this makes it to the pod.
Victor, you made it, dude.
You did it.
You did it. Great question. So I'm going to take some liberties with, I think you were at a tennis center indoors. So one, it's probably a lower bounce. A lot of times that's good for lower center of gravity guys, as you so kindly put it. I don't think it's surprising that the best tournaments in the lives of not only Arthur Fery, but Mochizuki, who had a nice run here, is because on a surface where the ball bounces lower and redirection plays a massive part. Fery is able to play a certain way because the ball is not jumping up over his head, right? If he plays Alcaraz on clay, a lot of time, a lot of spin, you can expose height a little bit easier. As far as like a sweet spot, it's only getting taller. Last Grand Slam champion under 6 feet tall happened 22 years ago with Gaston Gaudio.
Wow.
So the trend, it's nice to see the Fery story. It feels like more and more it's becoming the exception. I don't think tennis is immune to bigger, stronger, faster. Same with most sports, right? It's just kind of the way it is. That being said, I will say the number one thing that is non-negotiable at a pro level is movement. You cannot be amazingly slow anymore. You're not getting enough help from the surface, and there are just these crazy players like Sinner, who's 6'4", Zverev, who's 6'6", Medvedev, who's, all of the things. It's just getting bigger. I'd say the exceptions lie in like people that are all-time, kind of on the racket skills list. Fed 6'1", 6'2", Alcaraz 6'1". I still think there's room for like those generational talents, but they have to be perfect, fast footwork movers. You have to have all-time racket skills. But the trend, in no uncertain terms, sorry to tell you, Victor, it's getting bigger. I don't know that applies as much as at the club level. Always hit behind your big dopey opponents if they're much taller. Keep that chip down. We don't like that. And use the chip to switch directions. We don't like that either. And I say we meaning 6'2" and above. But it's only getting bigger on the Pro Tour, in my opinion.
For the record, Carlos is actually listed at 6 foot, but he feels taller than that.
He's the fastest guy I've ever seen.
He's unbelievable.
Was super bad when they're running away from the cops. No hair. It's the fastest kid alive.
Fastest kid alive. That's Alcaraz. Andre emailed us and said, it seems like players double fault more on grass. I'm looking at the new guys, Hodar and Fonseca, for instance, who serve very well, and I'm seeing them almost 10 double faults in a match. Is that because the serve is a bigger part of the game on grass, so players risk more?
You get more payoff for risk on grass. And the kick serve is extremely muted. So instead of going with that safe kick, where you just kind of, Fonseca can hit that at Roland Garros, a very safe kick that gets up and away, and then all of a sudden he's in the middle of the court. Kick serves get hit if you don't hit them that well. Like, you don't see, Novak runs the second serve in, Zverev runs the second serve in. Sinner did it more this tournament than 110, 112 on the body. So those 10 double faults you're talking about, if they get 25 good results from going bigger on the second serve outside of those 10 double faults, you feel like that's an investment that is able to be paid off. Listen, Hodar is his first grass court tournament ever, so we'll see. I don't know that I don't know that he dictates the rules. But just generally speaking, you're going to get more payoff off of a slice, more payoff for pace. So you end up seeing guys go bigger on grass, and it's more successful. So if you take a 109 kind of cutter into the body that kind of T-Rexes someone on the backhand side on a clay court, that becomes someone who's way back, and that becomes a forehand for someone to start the point with. So all the serves act differently, but that, like, even with Caboli, we saw he wasn't going way wide and hitting that monster kick like he was at Roland Garros. He definitely adjusted the serve. There are no accidents. If it's going up, it's because being a little bit more aggressive and running the serve in on the body, especially if people are creeping in on the baseline, you get more of a payoff.
Can you talk about that just for my own curiosity on the women's side and how they strategically approach it?
Yeah, it's probably the same. There's just going to be more risk taken on grass and rewarded on grass, especially hard, flat, and slice. Getting the ball up in the air isn't as effective. You saw Coco kind of learn in real time. I think that's the best example on the women's side. Decided to intentionally go a lot bigger with her serve, and I thought it was the best her serve has looked in a Grand Slam for a while. But also on that forehand side, kind of was hitting that little check down flat one coming in behind it. It wasn't the normal thing we see where Coco likes space, likes to back up, and then kind of gets a lot of arc to find space above her opponent's shoulders. That space largely isn't available on grass or is rarely available on grass.
That's a perfect segue because the last question we have before the random question of the day is from Jamie. And she said, Coco feels incredibly tactical with how she deploys and mixes up her very wide threat arsenal. And her opponents seem to often struggle with finding a rhythm against her. Mm-hmm. Do you know if players make more unforced errors when playing against Coco versus when playing against other top players?
I would assume so. My first time out of the ESPN vortex where I could just go to Hawkeye. Hawkeye, can you get me there? I don't think we have that. But here's the thing with Coco. If you're having to hit, there's a couple of details here that are important. If you're having to hit 3 or 4 extra shot per rally and you expand that over 3 sets, guess what that means? Bueller? Anyone?
What?
Means you're going to make more errors because you're hitting more balls. So simply that. And also when someone's as fast as Coco, if you do have a chance, you tend to go for more because you know that's what it takes against someone who is so good defensively. And third point that I think is very important to make is Coco, if she's playing badly, she is able to mix it up and beat you a lot of different ways. She kind of brings your level down with hers, and I don't say that as an insult. That is a compliment. That is a skill. She is able to do that. She has a couple of plans, right? Everything going well, hit big, serve big, all that. If the doubles are coming, kick the first serve in. If I'm missing my forehand, all right, I'm not scared to just kind of slice it in the middle of the court because I know that I can play defense. So I'm just basically going to D up and ask the question for the next 2.5 hours, can you beat me enough time, and do you have the skill set to beat my speed? So yes is the answer to your question. I would assume they make more errors against Coco. I don't know if it's because of just one thing. I think the totality of her skill set and the way that she can play, especially when she's not feeling totally comfortable, is an extremely impressive skill.
All right. It's time for your favorite part of the show. Sean, play it.
The end.
Time for the random question of the day.
I'll make a hip-hop version for next year. Maybe like the hip-hop version. That'd be good. Maybe like a hip-hop theme song. That'd be great.
How about the disappearing version?
Sean, play the question.
What is that?
He's doing flips.
Who did that?
Who's this?
What's up, Andy and Served crew? Being a gigantic, shameless show-off can be a huge motivator in life. Believe it or not, I would know. Sometimes you have to forge through life without motivation to be able to get things done, but motivation can be one of the most powerful weapons to be able to go the extra mile and push farther than you believed you could. And I imagine that that's the sort of thing you have to do in a life as demanding and competitive and obscenely difficult as elite professional tennis. I'm curious, Andy, because you've mentioned briefly here and there some of your motivators through life, like in high school, how you wanted to get that stupid-ass sound system for your car. I want to know what your biggest, most powerful, and most impactful motivators are and have been. Not just for your career, but right now in the phase of your life that you're in, where you're bringing us amazing content like this podcast. Thank you so much for everything. There's your video question, producer Mike.
How good is that?
Thanks, bro.
For people who are listening, what did he? I mean,
That was like a corkscrew double over the top.
he
flip.
did like a triple Salchow into a, but with no.
Should we
like,
play back that flip real quick just to see it?
Yeah, give us a slow mo of the clip. He literally, I mean, dude, it's 1, 2, flip, and then a serve,
And it's in.
and it goes in to the tee.
In a,
I kind of forget what the question was.
I kind of do. Motivators now versus past. That was sick. Thank you. That was like
Surreal. Thanks, man.
I didn't think. I'm speechless for the first time in our show's history. I got to be honest. I can't even explain this move. He did like a triple corkscrew thing, landed on one. Did you notice he landed on one foot and then did another flipper Magoo?
And then was in perfect position to serve.
Holy Kostiuk.
Insane.
That was, and then served, and then eventually got to his question.
That's the longest question ever.
That was great. Yeah, so motivators, I kind of operated from a place of ego and insecurity when I was playing. I was obsessed with what other people were doing and making sure that I was doing at least as much, or at least tucking away the thought that maybe I was doing more. I kind of needed that. Probably wasn't good for like my long-term prospects and training and stuff. But yeah, I was obsessed with kind of, you mentioned, I think you mentioned a really important point, was I fully believed in, like, I was really good at getting out of bed, doing my work, even if I didn't feel like it. And I think that's an undervalued skill. People are like, find your passion, show up, every day's the best. Not every day's the best. Not every day's the best. That's actually an impossibility. Like at scale, but like I think there's a lot of value in still getting your work in. Did I like it every day? No. Some days it was 27 degrees and we were on a track. That sucks. But you feel pretty good when you're done. So I was kind of good at, like, I guess I would call it the bad practices or the uninspired practices. I could get through them. I was good about, I treated it like a job. I didn't feel like everything had to be perfect in order to get a result. So I was decent at that. It was mostly just out of insecurity from what other people were around the world doing. Now I honestly, I just enjoy what I do. There's not as much consequence. There's not as much pressure. We just really like to do this. We thought there was a lane to kind of deliver something consistent in tennis coverage, for it to be differentiated, a mix of, dumb jokes and serious analysis. So I don't know. I just didn't, I didn't think it would ever turn into an actual real thing that people listen to. Mike and I got drunk. That was, I mean, right?
Red wine. Red wine.
Yeah. That was kind of it, though. I mean,
Yeah.
and now here we are and we like it and it's fun.
Yeah, we anticipated being a very dumb decision, but it's worked out.
It's been less dumb than I thought. I got to be honest. Like,
It's been less dumb. It's still pretty dumb when you play
Yeah.
Random Question of the Day soundtrack, but less dumb.
Yeah.
Sorry, when you play Random Question and you play Random Question of the Day soundtrack. Is that it? What do we got?
Well, I mean, honestly, we need to promo next week a little bit.
Yes.
I think next week we have a very special guest. We have
Yes.
your co-star
Yes.
from a forthcoming film called The Dink.
The Dink.
One Jake Johnson.
Guy.
How excited are you for this?
Yes, he's the funniest person. He's not even the funniest person I know. He's the funniest. Like, I listen to his podcast, We're Here to Help, all the time. I'm so jealous of the premise of that show. I wish we would have thought of it. It's so good. He is so funny. The Dink is going to be really funny. I've heard it's really funny. What is that? Is that a pickle?
What do you mean?
This is what's happening in neighborhoods across America. Is
What do
people
you-
fighting over this noise.
What do you hear?
What noise?
I can't do this shit.
What are you talking about?
Are you hearing anything?
I don't hear anything.
I don't hear anything.
I gotta
What
go.
were you saying?
The Dink is coming out July 24th. Shut up.
What?
I know you hear it. Most annoying. You know that scene in Dumb and Dumber where he's like, "Here, do you want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?" This is now that
It's
sound.
this
Yeah,
noise.
this
Dink,
is
dink,
this is it.
dink.
So Jake Johnson coming on the show next week. Please listen. He is. If you don't laugh 7 times, I have failed as a host, and I'm quitting. I'm quitting everything. He's great. He's the best. Thank you for the show. Is that it?
That's it. Reminder, the film premieres Friday, July 24th, exclusively on Apple TV. And really excited for you guys to watch. Dinner, check.
It's really good. All right. See ya.